Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and go through an article that one of you sent me. So thank you very much, Mario. It's the one that you sent me about how more people than ever are starting to pick up prepping, ladies and gentlemen. I wonder why. More than likely, it's the same people that for years have made fun of preppers and that have called us conspiracy theorists. But now they seem to think that it's a pretty good idea to start getting prepared for anything. Younger Americans fearing 2024 election could spark a civil war are prepping for disaster. 40% of Gen Zers have spent money, a lot of money, on doomsday preparations, new survey finds. Let me go ahead and stop there really quick. We don't prepare for the end of the world, ladies and gentlemen. I personally don't prepare for anything in particular. I just prepare. Why is that? Because usually when any kind of a crisis occurs that disrupts your standard of living, meaning maybe you can't get food at the supermarket, maybe they run out of toilet paper and people are fighting over toilet paper, maybe the water that you're drinking and thought was good to drink is no longer good to drink according to the authorities. Maybe there was a tornado, maybe there was a hurricane, maybe there was flooding, maybe there were fires like in Hawaii, maybe there were electrical outages. It could be anything, ladies and gentlemen. But in everything that I just talked about as an example of why some people may prep, you are always going to need water. You'll need food depending on how long the crisis is. Let's say the crisis is more than 2 or 3 days long. Let's hope that you have some food around put away that's in a safe place and properly packed and stored. You're going to need electricity, right? You're going to need probably, depending where you live, some self-defense, etc., etc. So most crises have a common denominator of what preps you need, and those are the basic preps that are going to keep you alive, that's going to allow you to take care of the things you have to take care of. Like, for example, maybe you need to move debris off of your house without having to worry about, hey, where am I going to get food? Because you've already thought of that ahead of time. Where am I going to get clean water, safe water to drink? Well, good thing you thought ahead and you have some gravity-fed filtration water filters, right? So that's what prepping is for, so that it gives you the opportunity to think through a crisis instead of having knee-jerk reactions because you just have no preps whatsoever. Now, initially, I was just going to read this article and not even do a video about it, but I think it will be fun to go through it with you all and see what it is that's motivating Gen Zers more so than others to get prepared, besides a civil war, ladies and gentlemen. More young Americans are doomsday prepping ahead of the next presidential election over fears of a societal collapse or failed natural disaster response, a survey has found. Pretty much, they think that there's going to be civil unrest in the streets because of whatever outcome the election has. And also, they do not have any trust in government to be there for them in case there is a natural disaster. And understand when you read articles like this, that the authors, depending what platform is writing it, they put in little words to make you think that what these people are doing, these preppers are doing, is insignificant, like doomsday prepping. When someone hears doomsday prepping, they think of it as just a joke, which it is. Why would you prepare for doomsday? In my opinion, doomsday is like, that's it, it's the end of the world. I don't prepare for doomsday. Like Bear from Bear Independence says, I don't prepare for doomsday. I prepare for Tuesday to make sure that my family has what they need in order to sustain their standard of living, i.e. water, food, shelter, heat, self-defense. Through the rest of the year, anyone that purchased the AP bucket, and also anyone that spends, let's say, $200 or more in the Nutrient Survival store using my link and also using my code, I will go ahead and send you at the beginning of 2024 one of the new 2024 edition AP silver coins. A lot of people have found interest in that, and I've gotten a whole bunch of emails. All you will have to do is go ahead and send an email to this email below, onewinnerwinnerchickendinner2@gmail.com, with a print screen or a screenshot of your receipt showing that you ordered it, that you paid for it, your order number, your name, your address, etc. Everything that I would need in order to ship you one of those coins, and everything that I would need to go ahead and verify that you actually made that purchase. Gen Z adults born after 1997 is the most likely to be preparing for a disaster, with a whopping 40% claiming to have spent money on doomsday supplies in the past year, according to a Finder survey. The survey of 2,179 U.S. adults was conducted from January 9th to the 17th of February and has 2% margin of error. Finder, who has been collecting prepping data since 2017, asked people if they had spent money preparing for emergencies over the last 12 months. And I'm sure as time goes on, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't matter who's in office, people are going to start prepping more and more and more. Because remember the saying that goes, let's see, strong men make easy times, and easy times make weak men, and weak men make hard times. Well, right now we are entering that hard time part of the cycle, and that is where everyone starts to think, man, I probably should be getting prepared for what's coming. Across all generations, food and water was the most commonly bought prepping item, and 20% of Gen Z preppers purchased toilet paper. According to the latest survey, 29% of Americans spent money on prepping, up from roughly 25% who did in 2017. Isn't that a great number? I would hope that this number of 29% or even 25% is right. Because if 25% of Americans, let's say, have at least a week or 2 weeks supply of sustenance and those things that they would need in order to survive, that is a great number, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to keep the doomsday out of it, okay? Because it's just propaganda, them putting that word in there so many times. Many preppers said they are taking precautions ahead of the 2024 election because they are concerned it will bring civil unrest. I really hope that they don't make this political. I haven't read this article yet, but let's see. While others worry that the government will botch its response to the next big natural disaster, again, people don't trust the government anymore pretty much for anything. Do you have a bug out location, ladies and gentlemen? Do you have a secondary location that you can go to in case you can't stay where you are? Well, take a look at this. This is the New Orleans Superdome, all right? This is after Hurricane, what was it, Katrina? Yes, after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. And look at these people. I've heard a lot of horror stories from people that had to stay in here for a while until they were rescued. So make sure you have somewhere to go. Another important thing that I would say is listen to the public authority. If there's a, let's say, sheriff's office or even a state trooper office or whatever, or your mayor's office saying, hey, listen, you have to evacuate because we're going to have a flood of 50 feet walls of water coming this way and you need to get out. Ladies and gentlemen, get out. Because your life cannot be replaced, whereas the goods that you have accrued throughout your life, they can be replaced, ladies and gentlemen. And some people are prepping because of global warming and climate change, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter to me why you're prepping. What matters is that you're prepping. You know why? Because the more people that are prepped, the better that it is for you. The less that are going to come knocking at your door trying to get something from you that you prepared for, but they didn't. Here it says that the intensification of our natural storm seasons is the number one thing that's going to happen to you. An electromagnetic pulse that takes out the electric grid could happen as well. A nuclear war might happen. A civil war might happen. But a storm will definitely happen. So be prepared no matter what, because a storm, some kind of natural disaster, will more than likely happen throughout your lifespan than not. In September, data showed a record 23 climate events that caused 253 deaths across the United States at a cost of $57.6 billion in 2023. And they say that along with Indiana and the Hawaii wildfires, the 23 devastating events included 18 severe storms across several states, including tornadoes, high wind and hailstorms, 2 major floods, and 1 winter blizzard. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, eventually the rule of averages will catch up to you and you will be one of those experiencing one of these storms or natural events. And here they say that a USA poll of 1,000 registered voters conducted from October 17 to the 30th found that 32% of Americans said the world faces bigger problems than usual. I think we could all probably agree on that as a world, not just a nation. And another 35% of those polled said that the world was in the most troubled state of their lifetime. And here, ladies and gentlemen, they spend a couple of minutes blaming the right or blaming the left. I'm not going to go ahead and concentrate on that. But look at this. If this was yours right here, you see all of this food, all of these preparedness items in here, wouldn't that make you feel good? If you walked into your pantry and you notice that you have enough food to feed your family and enough water and or water filtration available to make sure that your family drinks potable water during a crisis, wouldn't it make you feel good as the head of the household saying, hey, not only do I have my family's back during regular times, i.e. good times, but I got their back during hard times too. It's your responsibility. Make sure that you take it seriously, ladies and gentlemen. And here they finish it off by saying that the image of what a disaster prepper looks like has changed over the years since the health crisis and all of the toilet paper flying off the shelves. And it kind of has, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, do not allow the mainstream media, the mainstream pundits, to do your thinking for you. If you want to prepare, it should be because you want to take the responsibility of taking care of your family and not because you're listening to someone just telling you, hey, you should be prepping. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't have to be rich to be prepared. You need the basics in order to get by. If you have the basics, all right, you're going to be better off than most of the country. Just reading this article right here tells you that about 65-75% of the country is not even thinking about being prepared. All right, so if you just have the basics, you're going to be better off than most of the people in the country are. So get those things that you know that you are going to use, not something cool that you saw from this channel or another, unless it fits your preparedness plan, because we're all different. We're all in different parts of our lives. Number one, we're in all different parts of the world. Trust me, I do not need a generator for the same reasons as someone that lives in Florida or Arizona need a generator. I need a generator to make sure that in the winter time, if the power does go out, that I can keep my heater running. Whereas if you live in Florida or maybe even Hawaii or maybe in Arizona and one of those arid areas, arid states where it's really hot, you're probably going to need a generator in order to keep your AC running. So we're all different. We all need different things. We're all in different parts of our lives. Remember that you just need the basics to be prepared. But when you think about it, how many end of the world scenarios have you lived through in your life? Probably not many, if none at all. More than likely, your preps you're going to be using for, hey, maybe someone lost their job. Hey, maybe you're relocating. Hey, maybe you broke a leg or something, fell off a roof, broke a hip or something, and you're the main breadwinner. And now you have 6 months supply of food that you can rely on. Instead of putting resources into food, you can now put those resources, maybe that you had in savings, into paying your rent or paying your mortgage or paying your car note so you won't lose it during your time off, etc. I can talk forever. You all know that. However, we're going to go ahead and finish it at that. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.